It's Jahf Reach coming to you live and alive from the city of Jahf Reach. This is the show called Open-Minded, Not Blinded, where we get you to challenge your mindset by simply asking yourself why. This show is for you and all about you. Before we get started today, do me a huge favor. Please go to YouTube and click that notification bell and subscribe to my channel as well. Now, on to the story at hand. As most of you already know, R. Kelly did an interview yesterday on CBS with Gail Kim. Now the interview has gone viral, but most importantly, what I really want to speak to is the fact that his two current girlfriends, which he is simultaneously in a relationship with, they also were part of the interview. Now there's a lot of controversy surrounding that interview. Now take a look at this specific clip in the interview and then I'll talk to you.
Both of you with R. Kelly.
We're with him. That's our relationship.
We're with him. Yeah, that's what it is.
And we're in a relationship with him.
Right.
You just said it.
A very strong relationship as well.
Both of you.
Yes, most definitely.
You know, how do we say this without being inappropriate? Is this a three-way relationship, or do you each have a separate relationship with him? How does this work?
Well, both
I'm
of
curious.
those.
Yeah.
We both have our individual relationships with him, and
Right.
we all are family all together. We have our moments where we sit and watch movies all together. We go to amusement parks all together.
I'm not talking about Azriel going to movies and sitting watching, going to parks. I'm talking about is it a three-way sexual relationship?
Sexually? Well, first of all, I'm not here to talk about my personal life.
Okay.
And I would never share with no one what I do in or outside of the bedroom. And as a woman, I'm sure you would not either.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't, but
okay, then.
No, you're
next
right.
question.
No, you're right. I would not, but this is a very different circumstance.
It's not a different circumstance. There are people all over the world who have multiple girlfriends. It's no different.
Do both of you all believe you're in love with him?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now looking at that, there's a few things I want to mention. One, I definitely love how Azriel articulated herself. A lot of people are saying, when I look at the comments, a lot of people are saying that they're brainwashed, they're being used, they're being manipulated. I totally disagree. There is no way you can brainwash someone into being intelligent. Her responses were not delayed. She did not hesitate with her comments. She actually responded by firstly saying, first of all. Usually, first of all is followed up by something very educated, or an educated response, a response that you don't have to procrastinate about. You don't have to think reluctantly about what you're going to say. You already know the answer. So some people may say premeditated. So I love the fact that she's so intelligent and she is giving information specific to the situation. So she's not dancing around the question. So there is no way that I believe that he manipulated them or tried to manipulate them. And she also speaks and makes reference to why she's in the predicament she is in. Now I think a lot of people are not holding the parents accountable. Remember, the parents even themselves acknowledged they introduced the children to R. Kelly by taking them to the concerts. So what she is saying has direct relevance to the situation she is in, because R. Kelly is saying that they are trying to get money from him using the kids, and she is also collaborating what he is saying, what R. Kelly is saying. Now that's one point. There's another point. I like the fact that the young lady Savage is not saying anything much, because I feel 2 years or 5 years from now, or even sooner, there could be another documentary where it is called Living with R. Kelly, or My Life with R. Kelly, right? So they could twist it or turn it around, but the one who seems very educated and articulated, and she is really giving much of the interview because she's the one speaking the most, she may not really have a case or may not be believable when it comes to making a documentary. But the Savage one in the red, you can see her there to the right, she's not saying much. She's mostly shaking her head nodding her head and basically saying, I agree with you, but she's not saying much. So a lot of people will want to know what she has to say, even if she had to write a book or documentary. Doesn't have to be something negative specific to the R. Kelly situation, but people will definitely be intrigued to hear what she has to say. So very strategic. There's a lot of things to observe. Remember, my show is called Open-Minded, Not Blinded. So I'm looking at this from an open-minded standpoint. And I think a lot of you are just really believing what the media puts out there. I love the way she put Gail Kim in her place. This is my third point. I love the way she let her know what happens in my personal, private, and sexual life is none of your concern. And as a woman, you should, and I'm sure you understand that. Would you dive? And then she turns around to ask Gail Kim a question. She said, would you divulge what's happening in your sexual life? And Gail Kim answers immediately and says, no. Now, Gail Kim answered immediately. Now, is she being brainwashed? Is she being manipulated? No, I'm sure Gail Kim is not being brainwashed or manipulated. So, likewise for the young lady, the same way you all would want to make decisions in your life based on what you choose to do or chose to do, I'm sure you would want that to be respected. So I'm sure you all could understand where I'm coming from when I'm saying respect the young ladies' decisions. They are adult, and as far as I notice, very intelligent adults at the same point in time. There's a lot of people that I know are older than these young ladies, and they are truly being manipulated and truly victims of crimes, and nobody's talking about that. I see a lot of people mentioning Hugh Hefner and Celine Dion's husband. They master manipulators and groom them to be child wives also. So let's look at this from an open-minded standpoint and not just look at it for what the media is putting out there. So I want to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being open-minded. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for sharing the video. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell as well on my YouTube channel. It's Jahf Reach. Until the next one, it's Jahf Reach, not Jahf Com. Salute. Kaba.